Welcome to the show. Thanks for being with us again this week. Look, I'm excited to do this show every week, but I am really excited this week because it's not every day to get to speak to a Major League Baseball Hall of Famer, and that is my guest this week, is Major League Baseball Hall of Famer Phil Niekro. We will get to him just shortly, but first I do want to give a quote of the week leading into this, and that is by Walt Whitman, famous poet, writer. He said, "I see great things in baseball. It's our game, the American game." And, you know, a lot of people may have heard that quote even in association with the movie Bull Durham. And, you know, it is a great game. And it's something that you see so many kids playing, you know, throughout the years. They grow up playing it. We're there in the summer when it's hot out, watching our kids, our grandkids, whatever it may be, playing the game. And it really has been the American game for such a long time. And that's why I'm so excited to have Phil Niekro as my guest this week. We're going to take a break. As soon as we come back, we'll have Phil Niekro, Major League Baseball Hall of Famer, with me here on the Jamie Bordas Show. Stay tuned.
Don't forget to do your homework.
All right, Mom. Trick or treat.
Here you go. Happy Halloween.
For your home, for your life, for more than 50 years. DeNoon Lumber.
Disasters happen. We take care of them all, from cleanup to reconstruction. Tell your insurance provider you prefer Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, the official restoration company of the Mountaineers.
Welcome back to the show. This is my favorite time each week, and more so this week than ever, because my guest this week is Major League Baseball Hall of Famer Phil Niekro, inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1997 with 318 career wins, 5 Gold Gloves, 16th on the all-time win list, and 5 times chosen for the All-Star team. Mr. Niekro, it is great to have you here today. Thank you for being here.
Jamie, thank you. It's nice to meet you.
You too.
I've heard a lot of good things about you.
You must have been talking to only my friends, I guess.
No,
you know?
Everybody down the land and every place I go, WTRF in Wheeling, West Virginia, they know about you.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. So, you know, back in town, because you're always giving back to, you're remembering the community where you came from, here for your golf classic that supports Bridgeport High School every year. And great to have you in town for that.
Good to be here. This is our, what year is this, Gordy? 19th. Our 19th year. It was started by a guy named Brian Shambaugh and Don Cash, and Brian kind of got away from it. Gordy Longshaw and his friend Stephanie has built it up to the point where I never thought we'd get to. And it's, what I understand, one of the biggest golf tournaments in the High Valley. So thanks to those two and their committees and the sponsors and the volunteers is what really makes it work.
You know, looking at things like that, you know, Bridgeport High School, you know, coming back to the place where you grew up, you know, obviously remains special in your heart, you know, and you've, you know, you and your friends, when you're growing up here, did you ever think, you know, someday I could be playing Major League Baseball, you know?
No, my father taught the knuckleball to me in the backyard, and when I was a freshman in high school, I made the varsity team with Al Blatnick as my coach, George Kowalik a little bit. Didn't know what a knuckleball was. It was just something that I could get guys out with. Then I pitched 4 years of that in the Milwaukee Braves. We're going to have a tryout camp in Wheeling on the island, little field there. I went to there and it was over, and Cal said, "Where do you live and what's your name and what's your phone number?" And by the time I got home, my mother said, "Guy, scout call wants to come out." My dad just getting help with the coal mine. My mother fixed him a hurry up nice little Polish dinner. We sat and ate, and the scout, after it was all over, looked at my dad and mom, and my sister brother was there, and said, "Milwaukee Braves are interested in signing your son to a professional baseball contract." My dad and me. And he looked at my dad, he said, "How does $500 sound to you?" If I remember right, my dad said, "You know, I don't have that kind of money. I work at a coal mine. I can't afford that." He said, "No, we'll give you $500. Check right here." And I winked at my dad, said, "Take it." I did. Pitched the end of that summer for Wheeling, for Blaine and Barton and Cave Club and everybody. And next spring on the train in Wheeling, went to Waycross, Georgia, and that's where it all started.
That's pretty something else. Now, growing up here, you had some friends that were pretty darn athletic themselves. With John Havlicek, one of your best friends, that of course went on to be an unbelievable NBA basketball player.
Well, we lived, I don't know, 100 yards from each other. If I wasn't eating or sleeping in his house, he was at my house, and we fished together and we hunted together, and we done a lot of things together, pick walnuts up in the hills and all that stank. I remember those very clearly. But then you got Lou Groza, and you got Alex Groza, and you got place kicker up in Ferry, and Bill Mazeroski, and Bill Jobko, and Bobby Douglas, and Johnny Blatnick, who played for the Phillies a little bit. So in this little small area down here, there and still are some very good athletes come from here.
One person we haven't talked about yet or mentioned was your brother, Joe.
My brother Joe.
You guys went on to, both play in the major leagues and still have the record for most combined wins by brothers in Major League Baseball.
I don't, you never say never, but I can't see that being broken, and it's not a record that everybody talks about, but it's a family type record. Because when we did that, and Joe and I talked about that, the first thing came to our minds was our mother and our father and our sister in that little town, Lansing, Ohio, playing catch in the backyard, and going to Bridgeport, and all the friends we met, and our high school coaches and our classmates, and everything comes right back to High Valley, right back to Lansing, Ohio, in that backyard playing catch with my dad.
Something that's pretty neat that people may not know, that your brother Joe, one career home run he had.
Yes, he did.
In the major leagues.
He did.
Hit it off of you, right?
Yes, he did. We pitched against each other 9 times. Joe won 5. I won 4. He hit 1 home in the big leagues, and that was off of me in Atlanta to win the ball game. I got a couple off of him, but Joe is a good hitter. Joe is a real good hitter, and there's not a day goes by that I don't miss that guy. I mean, I don't think 2 brothers living on this earth could get along better than me and Joe, so I miss him a lot.
Yeah. Turning back to talking a little bit about, growing up here, what was it like in terms of the games that you played, in high school, and the rivalries? I mean, what was the big rivalry for you back then?
Any team that we were facing, any batter came up to the plate was a rival. I was a big fan of Bill Mazeroski at that time. He was a senior. High school, I was a freshman in Bridgeport. Pitched against him. He hit a home run off of me, win the ball game. I think that's the only game I lost in high school in maybe 4 years. And we became very good friends. But I don't know. It just, the game is still the same in 9 innings, bases, umpires. I think the whole mental attitude of the game today is maybe, of course, the only thing changes is a paycheck every 2 weeks.
Yeah, a little different.
When I broke in, the minimum salary that they had to pay was $5,000 a year, and now it's $500,000.
A little different.
Yeah, it's a little, but the game is still the same.
I want to talk a little bit about that as we go on the show. We're going to need to take a break. When we
Sure.
come back, I do want to talk about some of the changes from when you were playing to what we see today, because there are a number of them, especially in the pay structure.
Sure.
We'll take a break, then we'll come back, and I'll continue speaking with Major League Baseball Hall of Famer Phil Niekro. Stay with us here on the Jamie Bordas Show. Welcome back to the show. I've been speaking here with Major League Baseball Hall of Famer Phil Niekro. Appreciate y'all being with us this week. And Mr. Niekro, we were talking about some of the changes in the game that have occurred from when you played to now, and you were talking a little bit about the pay structure. And I was kind of thinking, you said your dad, okay, you signed him for $500, and today you see some of the bonuses that these draft picks are receiving, things of that nature. And then of course the salaries of the top players are nothing today like they were back when you were playing as a 5-time All-Star, 5-time Gold Glove winner. A little different paycheck.
Definitely. We broke in $5,000. That was the minimum. Now it's, I think, $500,000. I guess the biggest change in baseball is that what we're talking about probably is when we pitched, when we got the ball, it was our day to pitch, which is every 4 days, not 5 now. Our job was to go out and pitch 9 innings, not 6. They say 6 innings is a quality start. I want to throw up sometimes. Never had the radar gun. The manager took you out when he thought you were done. I always told the managers, don't come out and ask me if I'm tired, because I'll probably lie to you. You take me out when you think I'm to be taken out. Now it's very, very few guys could pitch 9 innings anymore, because I think it all starts the minor league system. They got that pitch count down there. They learn to pitch 3, 4, 5, 6 innings. Bring up to the big leagues. Okay, you got there, give me 6 innings or maybe 7. Now I got a guy that pitches 6th, 7th inning. I got a guy that pitches the 8th inning. I got a guy that pitches the 9th inning. In that whole deal of pitching a ball game is a lot different than what it was. The other day, I think the Braves used 7 pitchers.
I'd be a little bit mad. I mean, I hear you go out there, you pitch 6 great innings, and now a couple guys get in there in the 7th, 8th, and 9th, and they blow it for you.
Well, when I played, we had 4 starters. We had 1 relief pitcher. And the rest of the guys were ready being called upon. Now everything is specified. Everything. This Atlanta Braves used 7 pitchers the other day in 1 game, and everybody does that. So, I'd go out and sometimes start 42, 45 games here, pitch 300 innings, 340 some innings. Gaylord Perry and Don Sutton and Bob Gibson. I mean, that was our job. We got the ball Monday. I hope I can give the ball back to the manager when it's over.
I noticed one year you had over 40 decisions in a season. I mean, you just don't see that
41.
today.
41. I started 42 games, had 21 decisions.
Yeah, you don't see it. You get a guy get 21 wins, in a year, but have over 40 decisions. I mean, now you might see a guy, maybe he's 14-7 or something like that. You just don't see it anymore.
No, the 300 game winners I think are pretty much gone, and you get a starting pitch out there and you get in pitches that count 100 and 110 pitches. Oh, we better get him out of here. He's going to hurt his arm. Or he's had many starts here. And the innings, God, I don't know. He's already pitched 160 innings. We better back off of him.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe that had a lot to do with all the arm surgeries, the Tommy Johns. They're still trying to figure out what caused all that. So I think there's a lot of confusion going on in the baseball arena, is trying to find out why there are so many injuries going on. We didn't have them. If we had them, we didn't know what they were.
Yeah.
They weren't Tommy Johns. I think back in the days, we went out on the field, played a lot hurt more than the guys. Right now, you get a pimp on your butt, they're going to send you to a specialist in LA someplace, and they get a second opinion in Baltimore someplace. So, but then it wasn't like that. Of course, we were all 1-year contracts.
Yeah.
They're in free agency. So, yeah, the game I think has changed. A lot more money in TV, radio, the big new ballparks, the new sky boxes up there. Tickets are higher. I used to go to a ball game in Atlanta. People used to go out and $2 a ticket. Beer costs you 50 cents. Chicken sandwich costs you maybe 75 cents. But now it's tough for a family to go to a ball game. No.
It is much different in the price structure. You mentioned the Braves. You spent a good bit of your career with the Braves, and you got the hat on today, of course. And
right.
The one interesting thing is, you were a great player, but the team didn't have a ton of success over the years. I mean, you did when you pitched, but it takes, you can only pitch once every 4 days, and you guys made it to the playoffs a couple times,
yeah.
but never to a World Series.
No.
And is that something that bothers you at all, that that you never got to play in the World Series? I mean, that's something obviously I'm sure you'd like to do. But
I wanted to, but every time I look back over my career, how fortunate I was and how blessed I was to be able to play professional baseball for 28 years. 1 year at Fort Knox I did, but counting major minor league, like 27 years. So A lot of guys don't do that anymore. I think a lot of the guys probably watch me and like to say, boy, I'd like to pitch the big league one day, or one game, or a year, a month, and I was fortunate to play 23 years.
Yeah.
I never had arm problems. Maybe didn't throw hard enough to get an arm problem. I don't know, but I think the guys today, they're bigger built, they're stronger, they look better in uniforms, they're ripped. People didn't care what we look like. I didn't care what I looked like. My job was to get the batter out, not to let some man or lady up in the stands say, he looks pretty good in the uniform. Didn't care about that.
Who's the best hitter you ever faced?
The toughest guy I had to get out was Billy Buckner.
Really?
Yeah, because I knew when he got to home plate that his objective, and only objective, was to get to first base. And those are the toughest guys to get out. He didn't care how he got there. I'd rather pitch to Willie Mays with the bases loaded than Bill Buckner or Willie Stargell or those guys. Greg Lazinski, Mike Schmidt. I could strike them guys out. Of course, they could hit the ball a long way. Buckner was a tough out for me. And there's guys that I could get out all the time. Richie Allen, who used to play with the Phillies, he used to come up to me before games, Niekro, don't worry about me. I'm going to take my 3 swings. I'm going to sit down. I ain't going to let that knuckleball bother me for the next week or 2 or 3. George Hendricks with St. Louis would lead the league in hitting. He wouldn't even play with me and Joe pitch. He just sat the bench. Pete Rose always said, I work a month to get my batting stroke down. Niekro comes in and messes up in 9 innings. So and there's good and bad on both ends of it.
Let me ask you about Pete Rose, since you brought him up. I wasn't going to, but still banned from baseball. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Should they line back in, give him a chance to go into the Hall of Fame, or do you think that'll ever happen?
There's a lot of pros and cons on that. He made the biggest cardinal sin in the history of baseball by betting on games, and he admitted that. I don't know. Personally, I don't think he'll get in. At least not while he's living. Maybe, I don't think they want to give him the opportunity to come up there in front of 60 or 70,000 people in Cooperstown and receive that. And that's my own opinion. After that, maybe, but I don't know. Stat-wise, the way he can't play the game, he was as good as anybody. Anybody. You give me all the money in the world, say, go out get one ball player, build your ball club around, I'd take Pete Rose. But a lot of people say yes, a lot of people say no, but I just don't see it happening.
Yeah. We need to take another break. When we come back, I'll continue speaking with Phil Niekro. Maybe we'll even try to get him to show us how to hold that ball when you're throwing a knuckleball. Stay with us here on the Jamie Bordas Show. We've obtained the record results in almost every field of law.
And other attorneys can't say we've had the largest verdict in this field. We can. We've done these things. We've tried these cases. We've gotten the big results. We've gotten the big verdicts. That sets us apart.
I think that says something to insurance companies. It says something to corporations that this is a firm to be reckoned with.
It's not the size of the verdict that's so important. It's the change that we hope to bring about.
Bordas and Bordas, fighting for justice.
Welcome back to the show. I've been speaking with my guest this week, Major League Baseball Hall of Famer Phil Niekro. And before we went off the air, I said I may have to get you to show me the knuckleball. And he's got a ball here with him today, so we're going to get right to it. How do you grip that thing? How do you throw that knuckleball?
I'll show you how I hold mine. You show me how you hold yours first.
You got to show me first.
Show me.
All right.
Can you do that?
Let's see. I'd probably be something like that. I don't know. I'm probably wrong.
That's why you never pitch to the big leagues.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
No, a lot of people think knuckleball, they think knuckles.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's these 2 fingernails here. So I just lay the ball right here like this. And these fingers come over the ball, and the fingernails come up like this.
Okay.
And that's basically.
So why do they call it a knuckleball if you're using?
Because you see these sitting up in the air. Now,
right.
there have been probably some guys that threw it this way, but most of the guys that's been successful, they brother Joe Wakefield, all those guys, throw it like that. And as you know, when the ball comes out of your hand going to batter, the ball is rotating somewhere or another, one way.
Yeah.
Curveball, slider, sinker. Whether you can hit it or not is a different story, but at least the rotation of the ball would tell you what kind of pitch it is. And all of a sudden, here comes a pitch in there like this, and it's kind of moving around as it's going in there. You got trying to hit that ball right there on about that part of a good bat that's round and right in the center of that. So anytime you can get any kind of a movement out of a knuckleball going to home plate, good chance they're not going to really hit it right square. You know, they give you a round bat and they write round ball and they tell you hit it square, which make any sense, but that's hitting the ball square right there. Yeah, and not too many guys throwing it now.
I tell you what, obviously I was never going to make it as a pitcher. My grip was totally wrong, but you know that's how it goes when you're, you know, I'm a football guy, you know, not a baseball guy. So, but I appreciate you showing us that because you know you won a lot of games doing that, and you know why? I mean, why the knuckleball?
Aren't many knuckleball pitchers out there. Every day in the course of a season, major league hitter will see fastballs. Some of them are better than others, but they know a fastball. And they know what curveball, and they see them every day. So they kind of get accustomed to that. And all of a sudden, here comes a guy that's throwing a pitch that is not really telling you which way that ball is spinning, and they have a hard time mentally with it. So the only time some of those guys saw a knuckleball was when I pitched against them, or my late brother Joe. Maybe I pitched against him a month ago, or maybe 3 weeks ago. There's not batting practice machines that could throw knuckleballs to you. Certainly no pitching coaches or coaches on that team that could throw you knuckleballs before the game for batting practice.
To get you ready, yeah.
To kind of get you ready for it.
You were telling me off the air that when the Braves and Pirates were playing in the playoffs back in the early 90s that Wakefield was going to be pitching for the Pirates, the Braves actually called you up because they didn't have anybody they could throw a knuckleball to get them ready.
I was out in California. And me and my wife Nancy, been married 50 years now.
Congratulations.
This August be 51. Yeah, called me, said, can you come throw a batting practice? We got Wakefield tomorrow night at the Pirates. I said, John, sure, Holtz, I'm in California. Fly in next morning, got there, I know, 12 or 1 with the ballpark and through batting practice around the Braves, knuckleballs. And guys are telling me, well, how do you hit that thing? Terry Pendleton, third baseman, says, do I hit left hand or right hand? I said, I don't know. But I did hit one home run off of Charlie Huff with the Dodgers, who was a knuckleball pitcher and won the ball game. So, you know, there's a lot of theories about how to not take a light bat, heavy bat, grip up on it, choke it and poke it. But I don't know. There's a couple guys from Columbia University a few years ago, and I was in West Palm, came down, they wanted to do a thesis on it. And they brought the cameras that they do in space that shoots like 1,000 frames a second. And gave me balls with no seams on them, and they checked the air density and the wind velocity, and you know, from here to there, 1,000 frames, you could pretty much figure out kind of what's going on in there. And they sent me a copy of it about a month later, and it didn't make any sense. They couldn't even. A lot of physics involved in there, I think.
So, you know, people may not know this about you. After you were done playing, you actually did a little bit of managing of a women's baseball team, the Colorado Silver Bullets. And what was that like? You know, a lot of people have seen the movie A League of Their Own, and Tom Hanks, of course, plays the manager in that. So, were you like the Tom Hanks type guy, or?
No, they wore the short skirts and everything, and we play against men. In that, they played against women, and we travel all over the country. In fact, we went to Asia one time and played a game over there. Most of our players that we signed them were softball players, All-American, pitchers under here, and they're playing in the field that's on 180 feet long. Catchers couldn't throw the ball to second base. They didn't steal in college softball. Fly balls, they weren't hit that high. Our shortstops couldn't throw the ball from short to first, because they used to have big ball. And now they got to get this little ball in their hand, and it took us a while to get them situated that we're not playing softball no more. this baseball. Because the first game we played against the Yugoslavia Olympic team in Fort Myers, the first guy popped up to the second baseman. And she came in to pitcher's mound, and everybody gave her a high five. And I called a meeting. I said, have you all been to big league ball game? Yeah. How many times have you seen the whole infield come in and give everybody a high five because the second baseman called a pop-up? This is not softball. In the fourth year, as I was winning the season, and there was some good athletes on that ball club. They didn't have the power here, catch the ball, run, good arms, and they could pitch.
Yeah.
I got stories I can't tell you on air about spending 4 years with 23 women on the buses traveling and airplanes and traveling all over the country. But not one time did I have to call a policeman, the FBI, or anybody, because here's the rules. This is not a fashion show. We're not wearing earrings. We're not wearing our diamonds or nothing like that. We're going to be ball players, and they were.
What was your favorite park to play in?
Every one of them.
Yeah.
I did not like the old Montreal Stadium, and I wasn't real fond of the Mets Stadium out by the airport. Every other ballpark was the same, because I knew no matter what park I pitched in, the mound was 60 feet 6 inches. It didn't change.
Just give you that batter, right?
I got up. The weather didn't bother me, because the other guys got to pitch in it too. The hotter, the better for me. I liked it. But again, I was fortunate, Jamie. How many guys would like to pitch the big leagues for 23 years?
Well, there are a lot of kids out there who would like to, and I think with you being here from the Valley and kids seeing, hey, a guy from the Valley did it. He made it to the major leagues. Gives them hopes for their dreams.
I didn't think anybody was looking at me. There was a couple scouts here and there. I didn't know they were there. And I walked in a tryout camp, and I just had that opportunity to do that. I had that break and took advantage of it. And career's over, and I look back, and hey, I won this many games. I lost this many games. You got inducted in the Hall of Fame in 1997. Had 3,342 strikeouts. But I think the thing that maybe people say, what really do you remember over your career? A lot of guys at the age of 31, 32 are over.
Yeah.
27, 28. I winning 121 games after the age of 40, I think was maybe my proudest of all the things I'd done in the major leagues. It was that, I think.
Well, I appreciate you being here today.
Jamie, a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Nice
It was
to meet
great
you.
speaking to you.
Thank you.
Congratulations on a wonderful career and all that
After
you've
this is
done.
over, we're going to go outside. You're going to put the mask on. I'm going to throw you some like I used to throw.
Sounds good. My gloves in the car. Thanks for being with us here again this week. It was great having Hall of Famer Phil Niekro with us. We'll see you again next week on the Jamie Bordas Show.